Knowing how to access and configure the General Ledger module is one of the most essential parts of operating the Acumatica ERP. General Ledger is the core financial module where all financial information is collected for analyzing, summarizing, and reporting. Acumatica offers its users tightly integrated business management software, so when transactions are created and released in any other module, they are collected in General Ledger. Since you are watching this video, we are going to assume that you've already created the actual ledger and set up the chart of accounts. As a quick review, remember that the Configuration tab contains 3 sections in General Ledger: Setup, Manage, and Analytical Reports. In this lesson, we'll focus on the GL preferences and further defining the system for your organization. From this form, we can assign number sequences, special accounts in GL, and select document processing options. During system configuration, you should have defined the numbering sequences in the Common Settings form. Please revisit this section to define the correct settings before specifying them to General Ledger. The next section refers to the settings for the chart of accounts. Year-to-date net income and retained earnings are 2 special accounts maintained by the system. You can specify them here if you have already added these accounts to the chart of accounts. We will add the 2 accounts here that we created since we didn't add them in the last lesson. If you haven't yet created these accounts, you can add them to the chart of accounts via the form to the left of the working area screen. We've also included 2 options for you to change the sign of the trial balance when importing data. The options are normal and reversed. This will modify how the trial balance is displayed on reports and inquiries. Normal doesn't change the signs of balances of expense and income accounts. If you select reverse, the system will reverse signs of balances of expense and income accounts while importing a trial balance. Below, we've included a set of alternative options used to define the order of accounts on General Ledger reports. If you choose option 1, the balance sheet accounts will be followed by income statement accounts that aren't divided into income and expense groups. In option 2, the balance sheet accounts will be followed by income statement accounts. In option 3, the income statement accounts will be followed by the balance sheet accounts. By selecting option 4, the income statements, not divided into expenses and income groups, will be followed by the balance sheet accounts. The final option allows you to specify the order of accounts manually by using the Chart of Accounts Order column on the Chart of Accounts form. As an organization, department, or small team, you must decide on a few settings concerning General Ledger that will work best for you. You will need to decide exactly when to generate reversing entries, if you would like transactions to automatically post to GL upon release, and tell if users will be allowed to post to close periods. You can also define how many periods the system will keep transactions in the database. You will also need to decide whether to automatically hold batches and vouchers once they are saved, or allow them to balance and await release. If you have selected a default sub-account to be used with accounts that you've already identified in the Chart of Accounts form, then you should enter that sub-account here now. Lastly, the rounding settings are only applicable if you've activated the invoice rounding feature, and you've already set up the rounding rules and precision for invoices in AR and bills in AP. If that doesn't sound familiar, don't worry, this section can remain empty, even if you can see it at all. Although this video was created to support you in configuring your GL preferences for the very first time, remember that you can always come back to modify these settings as you gain more comfort in Acumatica ERP. If you're configuring GL for your system, go ahead and make the selections that your organization requires now.